Now, the senior captain we were flying with at the time, he advised us strongly that we shouldn't report it. We should make no mention of it at all. And at that time, way back in 1967, he said quite clearly to us that it would compromise our careers if we talked about it.
He now speaks for the first time.
We were flying from Scotland back to London, cruising at about 24,000 feet. The Preston radar controller at the time, he advised us that we had fast-moving opposite direction traffic in the airway, heading towards us at our 12 o'clock position, which was straight ahead. Now, of course, we looked out, three-man crew, we looked out, and into view almost immediately came a disc-shaped craft. The sun was shining on it. I was looking down on a disc about 30 feet diameter, with a slightly raised center portion, no markings that I can remember, but it was shining in the sunlight. It was certainly metallic. Any high-speed airplane so close to us would have given us a bump. Now, the very curious thing about this very close approach is that it didn't leave a shockwave.
Graham Sheppard, who's an airline pilot, you had a UFO experience.
Yes, I did. Back in the 60s, I was lucky enough to have a very good daylight sighting and a nighttime sighting, and I would regard them as definitive because they were both radar confirmed.
Are other airline pilots having these kind of experiences?
To my knowledge, I would say it's 5 to 10% of pilots have had experience.
Is there a commercial pressure upon pilots not to report these things?
There is a commercial pressure. In my own particular case, in a previous life, the world's favorite airline, to put it succinctly, declared that my interest in UFOs and their commercial interests were not compatible.
So do you think that there's a fear amongst airlines that if the pilots start talking about flying saucers, then people might, become worried about the pilots or something like that? Is that what it's about?
Well, from the commercial point of view, I can understand how they feel. And in all honesty, if I was running an airline, I'd require my pilots to stay quiet about any phenomenal incident in the air.
Okay, I'd like you to look at some examples now. We've got some film here. We've gathered together various recent shots of UFOs. I wonder if you can tell us, Graham, does this look anything like the disc that you saw?
This is just a light in the sky as far as I can tell. It's very difficult to make out what it is. This again, it needs clarification. I think it's an interesting picture, but doesn't look anything like the thing that I saw. Now, this one here is a light, and I would describe this as very similar to the nighttime sighting. In fact, we saw two radar confirmed performing very high-speed aerobatics.
We're going to see it closer now. Does that look like it?
This is very, very similar to the daylight sighting we had when we were within a quarter of a mile of something that looked just like that.